Hi, good afternoon, everybody. And thanks to everybody that is here and has been here and everything like that. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And that should do it. Okay. I put everything on one slide pretty much. But they say that all the world's a stage. And really, when you think about that, we all are performing all the time, and half the time we don't really know what we're doing. It's all improv, right? And sometimes we find ourselves in situations and places where we may not know the language right away, and we want to make connections and be understood, or we're starting a new life somewhere and we need to create some sort of identity and way of belonging. My background is in bilingual education, and I've been an international teacher as well as here in the US. I love languages. I love trying to communicate in languages. I also happen to love comedy and do improv and other creative stuff here in Houston. So here's the cool thing. Texas A&M University has a great mission statement that talks about developing new understandings between research and creativity, or through research and creativity, nurturing all sorts of other things, including an increasingly diverse student body and staff and faculty. College Station is not known to be a hotspot of diversity historically, but that's changing and increasing. And with that, the folks that come here are also in transition and needing to start a new life, a new identity. So that's where these things come into play. Improv comedy itself, in the 1920s in Chicago, Viola Spolin started using improv games to help immigrant children who didn't speak English have a method of acculturation and navigating their new worlds and interacting with each other. And I've had the opportunity to see improv performed in other countries, which it's worldwide, absolutely worldwide. A subset of that is bilingual improv. I've seen it in Taiwan and Japan, and also in Colombia, and here in the US a little bit. It's a tiny piece of the improv scene. As a result, there's not much research about that, but it's something that I wanted to look at bringing to A&M, especially given its mission statement and the things that I've experienced when I've been overseas and participating in a bilingual improv situation where I don't know both languages. The other interesting thing is that the audiences for bilingual improv, where I've seen it, nobody has perfect fluency in more than one language, and that's okay. That's the other really big takeaway from this, is that it's okay. It's a way for people to connect. So knowing that there's not much research out there on multilingual theater with bilingual comedy, even in that, and given that I'm in the performance and portfolio track for the master's program in performance studies in the College of Liberal Arts, I decided a good way to go about this would be some action research and implementing a series of workshops and performances throughout my course of study. We just concluded in the beginning of April the first one, and ideally there's 2 more planned. It may just be 1, we'll see, and we're still looking at the results of it. I was lucky enough to be able to secure funding through grants and through faculty sponsoring those grants to have an international improviser from Bogota come join us. His name was Mr. Daniel Orantia, and we did over 21 hours of workshops in 1 week. And we had some great results with that. We didn't even get to the level of bilingual improv that I'm aiming for, but just from what we saw, it was very encouraging. I've got some little pie charts here on my screen that show a little bit about it. The cost breakdown, of course, is something that I'm going to look at again. It ended up also personally costing me a chunk of money that is not covered by grants. And that is something that I need to address if we're going to do this again, because anyway. But let's look at some of our results. So we didn't have much time to really promote this as well as we could have, or collaborate with people in the Department of Hispanic Studies as well as we could have. We almost did not have this workshop. We didn't know up until 5 or 6 days before that it was a go. And that's something else, because life can come around for everybody. And Mr. Orantia had a death in the family that almost prevented him from coming and the workshop from happening. I've got a plan for that for future workshops, not to keep people alive necessarily, but to broaden how many facilitators we're bringing, if that's possible. So not knowing if it was going to happen, promotion was a little bit rushed. We probably didn't get as many people as we could have, but we did get 32 people coming, and that is students and staff and some faculty, and they all really seemed to enjoy it. In fact, we had a little over 40% return for more than one workshop session, which in a busy week after spring break, with little promotion is pretty neat. And we also had quite a few participants with more than one language in their toolbox. And that is also really neat. I'd like to increase that. I'm looking to collaborate more with the Department of Hispanic Studies in the future and really sit down and talk to faculty. I want to thank in particular Yair, who is a member of this institute, because he also came and he brought another participant as well, which was really wonderful, and I appreciate that. You can see a picture down at the bottom. Those were the people that came to the final performance at Rotor Forum, which turned into more of a workshop, but the enthusiasm is there. A lot of them are also on the Texas A&M improv team. And even after this concluded, they all went out to eat and ended up making a group me chat so that they can stay in touch with each other. That is really encouraging. And we had some people just come in and say, I don't know, I saw it on an email. I've never done improv. I don't know. I just thought I'd show up, and they stayed and they came back. The other thing I'd like to do is document the specific exercises and activities we do as we move forward, so that if anybody wants to continue it later on, they can. That's the whole idea, is to ideally make this sustainable and viable. And then work the languages into it, because that is really, really, really important. So, and I'm paraphrasing a lot here, but I want to get to a little video clip. But the conclusions and recommendations for further work on this project include having some sort of course time in my schedule that's dedicated to this. This was all done outside of classes that I have been taking this year. And that's not a sustainable situation for many reasons. So I'm looking forward to the fall being able to make that a lot more manageable. Not knowing how this all worked on this campus, who to talk to, what the procedures are, what the logistics are, how A&M handles it, the paperwork that people have to go through. Good learning experience. I hope that will be streamlined as well. I'd like to expand it to international improvisers in other countries also. And there are some improv troops here in Houston that may be able to bring some neat voices. I started a bilingual improv troupe myself here in Houston. Of course, this is all during COVID. And I'd like to document some of our journey, which is a little bit different because we already know improv. We're working within our own different fluency levels and how we want to set to go because we're focused on performing. So I'd like to share that as well eventually as we move forward. It's really encouraging to see, and I hope to bring some good results to help A&M succeed in its mission. I've decided not to focus on if people are actually acquiring language skills, because that's a very different quantitative analysis that goes beyond the scope of this. And let's see, we've got a couple minutes left. Let me see if I can get to our little video clip, and Yair happens to be in this as well. So let's see if I can do that. I wonder if this is playing. There it is. Okay. We'll see. I don't, we'll just see. Okay. Maybe it didn't work. Let me try this. Oh, wait. Can y'all see my screen?
No.
Okay, let me try that again. Okay, let's see.
I'm eating. Estoy soltando.
What are you doing?
I am.
What are you doing?
I am watching movie.
I'm taming lion.
Delivering
What are you doing? I'm going to the jungle.
I'm on the phone.
I am in a fight. Physical fight. What are you doing?
¿Qué estás haciendo?
What are you doing? I'm digging for something.
I am working.
What are you doing? I'm sick by my mom.
Estoy escribiendo mi tarea. ¿Qué estás haciendo?
Estoy viendo televisión. Sube esta televisión así. ¿Qué estás haciendo?
Anyway, that was just one of the activities that one person is saying they're doing something, but they're miming something else, and then the other person picks that up. The whole point of it throughout this week was to focus on being present and not thinking about your taxes, not thinking about anything else. Active listening, in which you're really listening and looking at what the person is saying, including body language, and also authenticity. So, and trust, because you have to be able to trust the people that you're doing scenes with. And we had a lot of success with that. And with that, we can keep building forward and incorporating more skills and things like that.